I'm Chase. This is MJ, Mary Jane. My 2013 Dyna. It's a Fat Bob with a 103. And we're gonna go out for an errand. I need a filter for a oh, that's good, for a car. So lovely. And as always, we're taking off up the treacherous road that I have to go up every single time I leave and every single time I come home. That's right, kiddos. Harleys are not built for off-roading. Well, at least these Harleys aren't. Although this one does a lot better than my old Sportster did. I think it has something to do with the tires, though. So but I think we're going to talk today about getting in a motorcycle accident. I've actually been in one. I've been in quite a few accidents. People love to slam into me from behind or pull out in front of me for some reason. And I have a theory on that, but we'll talk about that later. But anyways, yes, I have been in a motorcycle accident, and a pretty bad one. I wrecked it 45 miles an hour. It was Mother's Day. We were out picking up something for my mom, me and my two brothers. We were on our way back when a woman pulled out in front of me. It was a 4-lane street, but it was 45 miles an hour. I was doing the exact speed limit. There were two cars. One was on a lot of traffic today. One was in, well, the lane next to me, going in the same direction. She was coming from the other direction, and she decided to not look and make a left-hand turn right in front of me as the guy next to us made his right-hand turn. As she pulled out, her big car literally blocked off both lanes, and his blocked off the other two lanes, and the only place I could go was a guardrail. I decided it would be better to put the bike down. If I would have, I just didn't have enough time. At 45 miles an hour, I was on a Sportster. They don't stop very well, let's say. So I put the bike down instead of going through her back window, because that's where I would have went. Her kid was in the back. The problem was, as soon as she seen that she'd made the mistake, instead of actually stomping on the gas and, well, saving us both a bunch of time, money, and horrific pain, she decided to slam on the brakes. Lovely. I laid the bike down. There were witnesses everywhere. There was people over on the same side of the street that were playing volleyball, seeing the whole thing happen. There was a couple sitting on their porch, an older couple. Then she starts to kind of creep off, like she wasn't going to stick around to be held responsible. My brother had stopped, and my other brother had stopped. He hopped back on his bike and started to follow her. Finally, she stopped. I guess she figured that there was no getting away. I was laying on the ground. I could not get up. I couldn't move my left arm at all. I couldn't even feel it. It was like it was gone, like it had been torn off. At the time, I didn't know, but I I'd had some severe spinal and back injury. My left leg didn't want to work. My right leg, it wasn't working too well either. But I don't know why I had to stand up. So I ended up getting up, and I was standing there when the ambulance showed up. I had pretty bad road rash. I was wearing full gear. I mean, leather coat, riding boots, jeans, helmet. So gloves, that saved my ass. It's really one of the reasons why I will never ride without gear. I think that's just some of the stupidest stuff you can do. Now, I may go light on gear on the arms. You know, I'm wearing a shirt, but at least it's something. Whee! Man, this thing, it just, so much faster than my Sportster. And I don't even have to ring it out. Anyways, my brother had just been murdered. My mom, she was having a hard time with it. So it's one of the, I mean, we all went and made sure we got her something for Mother's Day. We wanted to cheer her up. But we had all gotten these motorcycles about the same time. We had decided that, you know, life can be taken away at any moment. You never know. So we had actually had a design made for like a vinyl stick-on. I had mine put on my tank, and my brothers did too. The cop that shows up, he's looking over the accident, he's checking out my bike, and he flips out. Not on me, on this woman. My brother being murdered was big news at the time. And he was one of the cops, one of the first cops on the scene, apparently. He was literally screaming at her, "My God, what the hell is wrong with you? These are the boys that just lost their brother who was murdered. You couldn't check before you made a turn?" She's acting like pretty much she doesn't care. And then her husband shows up, talks to the cop, and goes over and starts screaming at her, because this isn't the first time that she's almost done that, or done that. Apparently she has a constant problem with being on a cell phone. Apparently this is a common problem. So the ambulance comes. My brothers, they call one of our good friends. My bike was still somewhat rideable, though. It was pretty thrashed. Bars were bent. It had just been beaten. It dented the tank in real bad. It pretty much wrecked it. It should have been totaled. It actually messed up the shifter, and it messed up the transmission. But I wouldn't know about that till, well, probably a year and a half later, when the tranny started to go, and the guy said, we're going to have to pretty much replace the whole, pretty much everything. It had busted up the transmission, something pretty fierce. So but when her husband shows up and he's screaming at her, I get into the ambulance. I don't know what happened after that. The cop starts looking over the accident area, starts talking to everybody. I'm at the hospital already. When my brother gets there, he says, well, you know, we got to call Mom. My one brother says, I'll call her, and my other brother says, hell no you won't. You'll screw it up and you'll give her a damn heart attack. My other brother, like I said, had just been murdered. So my brother calls, and the first thing he says is, Chase is all right. And she says, what do you mean? He says, well, he was in a motorcycle accident, but he's all right. So he leads off with that. I guess that's probably the best way to break bad news. She's sad that I got hurt, but, you know, relieved that I'm, you know, not like a mangled dead body. So my brother then says, well, you know, I'm pretty sure the cop said she's getting cited because technically it was her fault, and there was probably 20 witnesses. There was cars behind us, cars that were coming in the other direction, people were out on their porches. I mean, it was a nice May summer day. Well, close to summer, or Springdale it's called. It was about 80, everybody was outside. It was a damn nice day. So I wasn't sure I would want to ride a motorcycle again. I mean, you get in a bad wreck and you start rethinking it. But I loved riding so much, I decided I was going to do it. I was just going to get back on the bike. I hate giving up on stuff. I'm really stubborn, I guess, that way. Like my marriage. I should have gave up on that when my brother said I should, but I ignored him, and man, I took that right to the limit of stupidity. But I ended up getting the bike fixed. Well, fixed-ish. I didn't know the transmission was just a wreck. It needed replaced pretty much. All the gears it was shot. So I got back on the bike and I got back riding again. And if you've been in a wreck and you don't get back on the bike, man, I understand it. I know how that feels. But a lot of guys I talk to that have been in wrecks, they want to get back on the bike. After a while they miss it, even though they've convinced themselves that, man, I don't want to get hurt again. I could get killed or maimed or all this stuff. About a year or two down the road, they don't have a bike anymore, and they'll be sitting there bullshitting, and they'll go, man, I miss my bike. So maybe it's something that needs to be done. I don't know. Maybe it's just a certain kind of person that rides motorcycles. They just don't want to give up. They're not people that are prone to just accepting a loss. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But mostly, it's undescribable riding a motorcycle to somebody. It's like I said, I think I said it before in a video, it's about as close as you can get to flying. I mean, you feel the wind, every smell is way more enhanced. Now, that can be good. I mean, it's like walking by, I have some milkweeds at my house, and walking by the milkweeds, and they're flowering right now, man, the scent is so strong. And that's how it is on a bike. It's that smell. You're so far out in nature. It's not so enclosed. You experience more of everything. Unfortunately, you ride past a bloated, cooked in the sun, rotting deer, or a skunk or something like that, and I'll tell you, you really smell that too. But, you know, you take the good with the bad. I don't know why he's not getting over, but I'm gonna go past him. I think I seen him on his cell phone. Yay! More morons on their cell phones, and in a semi too. Awesome. When you can really do some damage. But if you've ever been in a motorcycle wreck and you decided to quit, or you decided to keep riding, let me know in the comments down below why. Some people, they're just, motorcycle riding isn't for them. That's why you'll see a lot of bikes with 1,000 miles on them or 500 miles on them for sale, and that are brand spanking new. Realize pretty quick maybe it's not for you. I'll say this though, I'm thankful for those people, because it's people like that, wow, that is a horrid color. It's people like that make it so someone like me can get a bike for somewhat of a deal. It's like a lot of people are out today. Now, as far as fear goes, yeah, I have a little bit of fear that I might wreck, but like I said, I've been in a lot of accidents. People seem to love to run into me. Oh, that theory. I don't ever want to own a black bike, a white bike, ever again. I don't know if it's because those are main colors that are, you know, pavement or marker lines or what, but people tend to just not notice them. And man, they just plow right into them. My one white car, I got hit 2 times in the damn thing, and they both said the same thing. Oh, I didn't see you. I think it's because it's a marker light or marker line color and an edge line color, so people just tune it out. But I will never own, I don't want a vehicle in those 2 colors. I don't want black, and I do not want white. You know, the tar lines, they're all black. You know, there's just a dark color like that. It's not the right color. So I think that's why. And the white, I think it's because it blends in with the marker lines, the center lines, and it just, I don't want anything to do with that again, ever. It's just a bad idea. Now this bike, it's kind of shiny, it's got a lot of metal flake in it. My helmet's a bunch of different colors, so that kind of helps. But I think I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Flick that ding-a-ling if you want to be notified of any new videos I put up. And see y'all later. Bye.